The debate over tougher laws cannot be dodged anymore. Meenakshi Lekhi joins the debate tonight. Also with us, joining Meenakshi Lekhi is Majid Memon, National Secretary of the NCP, senior advocate from Mumbai. Kunal Kohli is a filmmaker. He supports death penalty and chemical castration. Indu Malhotra, senior advocate from Delhi. She supports capital punishment but is against chemical castration. We are also joined by Kavita Krishnan. She's against the death penalty and against chemical castration both. There's a human rights activist, Sudha Ramalingam, also with a similar point of view, joining us in some time. And Prasoon Joshi, well-known lyricist, whose views as of this point on the News Hour debate are reserved. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Kavita Krishnan, one can push against it, but the debate is now rolled. And once the debate rolls, the first question which will be asked is how effective are existing laws? One is the implementation of the laws and one is the existing laws. We'll have to tackle both, won't we?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think the way we should approach this debate is to figure out why the conviction rate in India for rape is so low, because that is the main concern. What punishment you will give after you convict is also a question. But why is the conviction rate so low? So I think one big reason is that there's a gender bias that is built into the existing laws and into the investigation mechanism. And I think the greatest concern for the women's movement that has been working with thousands of affected women has been to get rid of this bias. Let me put it to you. When a woman is raped, the first thing that happens to her when she goes for a medical examination is a barbaric medical rape called the two-finger test to decide whether or not she is habituated to sex. This is something there have been a couple of court judgments against, and yet it continues as standard practice. This has to be the government can pass an executive order tomorrow and get rid of this practice. And on the law, also the law as it stands today deals in words like modesty, outraging modesty, insulting modesty, and it fails to recognize a wide variety of sexual assault beyond rape, and therefore people get away with very lightly.
No, Ms. Krishnan, if I may just come in, you see, I'm completely with you on the fact that, words like eve-teasing, etc., I think there has been an attempt to trivialize crimes against women. I am completely with you on that. I'm also completely with you that you need to have strong convictions, quicker convictions. But what are the convictions going to lead in? The fact is that chemical castration, my point is that why are people so uncomfortable with the idea of chemical castration?
Okay, I would like to say that.
And what
I will tell you exactly why.
Yes. Go ahead.
I would like to say, look, for one thing, rape is not happening because of sexual desire. It's happening because of a fear and hatred of women, which is reflected even in Honey Singh's lyrics. Okay. Now let me come to it. Now, if you chemically castrate a man who has raped, you are creating a monster who is going to go out there. His hatred for women is going to increase manyfold, and he is going to go out there and rape any number of women.
Should the society live in fear?
Because he's castrated, because we know that rape.
Ms. Krishnan, in Germany,
you can have a life imprisonment that means life.
Let's take another example. In Germany, I have a German study where chemical castrations happen. It says 46% of sex offenders who do not, sexual perverts, 46% of them who do not receive castration reoffend. And there was a study done in a detailed period over a 10-year period. Only 3% of people, only 3% of people who are operated on, who are chemically castrated, reoffended. So,
listen, perversion and castration, you can rape even without having a male sexual organ. You can rape with instruments. People do this in so many barbaric ways.
My question is very simple. What do we lose? Apart from what do we lose?
You're going to create monsters.
You're going to create a monster. Okay, fine. Let's get Meenakshi Lekhi in. Meenakshi Lekhi.
Unleash more rapists.
Okay, I don't know if putting the fear in the minds of potential rapists is going to be negative in terms of the impact on rape. I have statistics to prove that it won't.
Conviction should be there.
Meenakshi Lekhi, let's talk about it openly.
Arnab, yes, Ms. Krishnan, what is the point not coming out is that chemical castration is reversible. And it is for this reason I am against chemical castration. Castration is a possibility, and that too a surgical one, in case people indulge in perversion or indulge in, say, pedophiles and such people, you can get a surgical castration, but that is no effective measure. And in words of Ms. Krishnan, if these people are going to revert back and we are going to create monsters, I think in that case death penalty is a better option. In any case, this is not a case of rape alone, this is a case of murder with rape. And when murder is coupled with rape, it is, even under the present sentencing system, falls under rarest of rare, and death penalty is the rule. Now there are cases, if this girl had remained alive, and it is for this reason I say that we need to modify the law, that in case there has been attempt to murder or a very serious grievous injury to the body with or without a sharp nail object, in those cases also death penalty should be the rule, because no matter what you do, the person is not going to make it to a normal life. For example, somebody's eyes been gouged out, somebody's arms been taken off, leg been severed, or neck was cut, but the person has survived but has become paralytic, or as in this case the intestines were damaged so brutally. So wherever there is a case of brutalization of the body and person is not going to recover that organ by any means, in all such cases death penalty should be the rule, because this is not just rape, this is beyond rape, this is an attempt to murder or murder. In all such cases death penalty should be the rape, and we can't allow such monsters to roam free, whether inside the jail or outside, because even when you keep them inside, under the jail rules and under the jail manual, they have to be paid for all the work they have done, they have to be sent out on parole, their rehabilitation mechanisms need to be controlled, their family can meet them, and the person who has been raped and murdered, or raped and molested so badly or brutalized so badly, can never get back to her normal life.
I for one here, do feel right now that, Kunal, just coming to you, I mean, there is something, we need to come to terms with ourselves. Now, we can have a lot of lectures given, we can talk about, what we need to do, but somewhere, our system, I don't know, Majid Memon, before I come to you, let me get a citizen's perspective from Kunal Kohli. In our system, we all get very queasy and uncomfortable when we talk about tough options. Tough options against corruption, we are worried. Tough options against terrorism, we are worried. Tough options against crime against women, we suddenly have become a soft country in which human rights seem to be the only preserve of people who carry out crime. Kunal Kohli, do you support chemical castration and death penalty?
What I would like to bring in here, I would like to have even tougher convictions for eve teasing, for groping. When a woman is groped in public, when a man just brushes her, abuses her physically in public, even that needs to have very serious conviction rates. Also, I'd like to add one more point over here. The pardon sentence by ex-President Pratibha Patil.
Shocking.
How can she get away with that scot-free? She cannot just say, I know I'm digressing slightly, but it is very important when our people who are supposed to be lawmakers and who are controlling the law, when they are pardoning rapists, how does that happen? How do they get away with that? She cannot pass the buck by saying, I was given an advisory by the Home Ministry. I'm sorry, I as a citizen will not accept that.
Kunal, I'm completely with you.
How did the ex-president, pardon such rapists and get away with it? That is a waste of my taxpayers' money.
Kunal, we actually sent out a request to the ex-president Pratibha Patil because we have strong issues with her pardon. And for some reason, the ex-president was very comfortable giving 40 minutes interviews. And, over the weekend, she was seen on some channels giving long lectures about what should be done and how the system should be more sensitive. She completely refused to speak to Times Now. I'm placing it on record for our viewers. Pratibha Patil has refused to speak on Times Now. She said, your time is up. I will not speak to you now. I would request the ex-president publicly, don't avoid this channel, answer the question.
Can I ask a question to Mr. Memon, who's the lawyer here? Can we file a PIL against her for what she has done?
Go ahead. Actually, we're digressing a bit, but yes, why not? Majid Memon, why not? It's a worthwhile digression.
Now, I don't know whether I am supposed to...
Can I, as a citizen, file a PIL against this ex-president?
If I speak about this PIL, then the main subject will remain. No, let me first speak about... I heard the two
but
ladies
this is a very important question, sir.
And express... the subject... but then I will do this after I do the main subject.
Go ahead.
Let me speak on the main subject. This is, of course... Now, see, Arnav...
Yes.
Chemical castration is certainly an expression of great anguish against the offender, and therefore deterrent must operate. Now let us not forget that all of us are distressed and anguished because we feel that we are unsuccessful in preventing rapes too often. Therefore, we have to find remedial measures. Now, only gravity of sentence is not alone the factor. It's one of the factors which does not make us succeed in our prevention of rape. There are a number of other things like how the cases are to be detected, how promptly they should be decided, how brilliantly they should be investigated.
I am on tougher laws right now. The conviction rate we can discuss later.
No, but
we can't let the conviction rate.
Yes, Arnav.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sir, Mr. Memon, with all respect, the conviction rate cannot be a digression from the real issue. The real issue right now is tougher laws, and I feel people are. I feel there is a general reluctance and a nervousness to talk about tougher laws.
Arnav, deterrent punishment. What is deterrent? Now, there is a debate. A large section of society believes that life sentence is just 1 minute. Absolutely. No. I'm saying that particular way of just wait for a minute. This chemical castration may perhaps be struck down by our courts because one does not know. Now, this is something like Saudi law that those who are indulging often in theft, their arms should be cut. You know, such offences, such punishments are unknown to our criminal jurisprudence, and we can innovate. We can try this.
I'd like to say something.
Time for that, sir.
Sir, I don't know. Sir, extraordinary times. 1 second.
Arnav.
Majid Memon, I slightly disagree.
Please let me say
because
something. Arnav. Please let me say something.
No, Kavita.
I'd like to say something, please.
Kavita, extraordinary times.
Okay. The terms of your debate.
Yeah.
Can I get in here for just a very short while? No, you haven't heard me on what I want to say about the terms of this debate. I'm trying to say that in Saudi Arabia you have very tough laws, it's a tough state, and the status of women in that society everybody knows.
Please.
I'm trying to say the women's movement that has worked with affected women has been asking for changes in the law from which you are digressing. The government is going to get away easily because they will pass the existing bills, which are very bad bills, by just inserting some kind of death penalty, chemical castration kind of thing.
One second. The only question is right now. The only question is 1 minute.
Why are you not focusing the debate? Why are we as a country? Why are we as a country afraid of facing the questions?
Kavita, we are not afraid. We are not afraid. Kavita, 1 minute.
No, you are having a bill that
Kavita, don't get so worked up.
Gender neutral.
No, please permit others also to express themselves.
You see, the problem is this. 1 minute, Kavita. Kavita, 1 second. 1 minute. Can I just have 1 minute of order on the debate? Can I just request everyone to come in when I allow them to? 1 second, please. See, the problem is this, Kavita. Yes, please don't mind my saying it. That there are some groups who are saying act. Right? There are some activists who act. The moment people say, yes, we'll act and we'll be tough this time. No, don't be tough. Then human rights will be violated. In this country, I want to place on record, 1 minute, 873% increase. 1 minute. Let's put it very simply. Kavita, 1 minute. 1 minute. Nobody knows, neither you nor anyone knows what women want. We are putting the issue out, and the fact that this whole country is debating right now. No, not one person doesn't have a... Kavita,
we are saying get rid of the two-finger test. Why can't you debate that?
Kavita, 1 second. You know, we've also spoken to several people who have survived.
Speaking for terrorists.
Who have survived the worst form of sexual exploitation and sexual violence, and they say we want tough laws. So no, you can't say that I know what's in the mind of all women.
So do we.
In this country,
we want tough
Prasun Joshi is coming in.
I don't think we can intellectualize when it's coming to people, and you look at the people and their pain. I think the government or any society is there to take care of people and their sentiments. And the fact is, I think the high time we realize that crime against women have reached all-time high, and there is a tipping point to it. Now, you cannot intellectualize that. You cannot. You have to provide very, very firm laws to deal with it. And there is no tokenism required there. Their real steps are required. And nobody is denying that it's a complex problem. But to begin with, law and order is a very important. What is the parallel you can draw? What are people scared of? You look at murder is something which people think, even murders, portrayal in cinema, murders, reporting, everywhere murders, the way they are referred to in our society, then we talk about murder, is something very, very serious. Why crimes against women are not that seriously referred to? Why are we so casually referring to them? That is the problem, and that can start. We have to start it somewhere. There are social things. I think earlier, वो पहले कहते थे कि बिरादरी से निकाल दिया. Those kind of things also have to come to a rape victim. Still, I feel in your channels and all the channels, the faces of victims are blurred. They're pixelated. Understand the reality of pixelation. We still feel that the victims are the convicts. We still
that is to protect the identity of
No, I know, but we need to reach a point where these people can come out in open. We need a society. That's a larger point.
No, but tell me on the laws here. My point is very narrow today. My point is that there is a certain amount of nervous hesitation to look at tough laws, because there is a group of people, who don't trust the state.
What are those group of people doing for women? I want to know what are their answers. They are saying
really?
What?
Really?
No, one minute.
These are the women's groups that have been working consistently with women, and you are saying, I'm saying...
What is the result of that consistently working? Where have we reached? Have the rapes increased? If they are consistently working, have the rapes increased in this country or decreased?
Let me tell you something, Arnav. 90% plus of the cases of rape are done by fathers, brothers, neighbors.
So why should they not be castrated?
Chachas, mamas.
So what does that have to do with the argument that Kavita, calm down. Kavita,
I'm saying the pressure on women will be doubled.
Do you talk about murder like that?
One at a time, please. Kavita, 1 minute.
Whether a person is related.
Can I request everyone not to speak at the same time?
Ma'am, whether the person is
Kunal, 1 minute. Kunal, Meenakshi, everyone, one at a time. Kavita, please, please. 1 second. To everyone, I'm requesting, especially Kavita. See, Kavita, I know you're very strong and passionate views on this whole subject, but so do everyone. And today, please realize this. 1 minute. I want to say this. This issue of making sure that this country, where 873% rapes have increased over 40 years, this issue is not limited to a few activists alone. I'll be very direct. It's become a mass issue. Nobody holds a proprietary ownership over. The women of India hold proprietary ownership over it. No NGOs and no activists have proprietary ownership over this issue. And the ones who have suffered have proprietary ownership on this issue, not activists alone. Let me say that directly.
Their point of view is equally important. If the women of this country feel that there is a certain kind of treatment which should be given to these people, I think their point of view should be taken. They should not take a high ground sitting somewhere that says these women don't know what they're asking for. I mean, we are there, the governance is there for them.
I don't know.
If they are feeling, marginalized, they are feeling compromised, I think their voice is very important, and those voices have to be included. They want firm action.
Yeah, I want to also mention here, we have seen several cases when those accused of a particular crime have repeated their crime. Sudha Ramalingam, I'm coming to you next, have repeated their crime within years due to a lenient punishment. I want to tell our viewers, in the July Rohini 2012 murders in Delhi, the main accused, 20-year-old Mahesh, along with his accomplices, murdered 2 elderly women. They had committed a murder 2 years ago, but they were let off because they were a minor. Many of our viewers are telling us the person who carried out the most demonic assault is the 17-year-old minor, is a juvenile. Now, if that juvenile gets away, we don't care about his human rights. He carried out the most demonic assault on this 23-year-old girl. If he gets away here, and if he's out on the streets once again in the future, then how safe will the women of the city of Delhi feel?
Forget safe. What would you feel? Just because there are grey areas in law, somebody should not get scot-free. If he's able to do that act, that heinous crime, he has to be, punished for that.
So then
you have to find ways of doing it. And I think that's what also, I think why are we shying away from saying that there is a decisive action against such crime is required, and high time we introspect and look at our laws and the implementation of those laws. Why are we shying away from that? I think nobody is saying that this is a definite answer. I do not know, because the chemical castration I was reading is a very complicated thing to sort of, implement. Now, nobody is saying this is the answer. But what people want, people of this country want, and that has to be respected, is that they want
in 1979, Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer suggested the idea of castration as punishment for rapists. He said an anti-aphrodisiac treatment or willing castration is a better recipe for this hypersexed human being than outright death. And I have numerous judgments which speak of this. Of course, this is upsetting the human. No, the problem is somewhere our human rights lobbies, are very uncomfortable today.
But the point is,
very uncomfortable with tough laws on anyone.
With human rights lobbies.
No, I know you're not. I'm saying generally human rights lobbies. Human rights lobbies need to look at the human rights of the victim as well. For a change. Indu Malhotra, where do you stand on this? Indu Malhotra, please.
Yeah, my thinking is that in so far as castration is concerned, I think most people are not aware of castration, because chemical castration is a reversible process and the implementation of it is extremely difficult. It is by injecting a drug, an anti-androgen drug, every 3 months. Where is the supervision? Who will follow up? How will the implementation take place?
No, but
I personally feel that chemical castration
what we as citizens are asking for, what we as citizens are asking for is stricter punishment.
Yeah, so
what we are asking for is stricter punishment. Stricter punishment for rapists, stricter punishment for eve-teasing. We need those to be implemented.
Even in so far as mandatory death sentence is concerned, that has been considered to be unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
Well, what about, I would say, trampling upon the individual rights of life and liberty of a rapist? I'm proposing this, Sudha Ramalingam. You see,
Arnab,
all sex offenders,
three of the women panelists are against the suggestions you're making.
No, don't divide this into standard, stereotypical, predictable woman-men divides. You know, don't do this. No, Kavita, don't do this.
Think about it.
No, Kavita, also understand. No, Kavita, understand.
Because there's a history of the women's movement behind it.
Kavita,
it's nothing to do with human rights.
Kavita, please understand.
Please understand. You have succeeded in brainwashing a lot of people.
Kavita,
that doesn't make it right.
Kavita, please understand.
It's not me.
Kavita, don't get...
the entire women's movement with the largest number of women members in their organizations. Thousands and thousands of women have not asked for this. The reason is not, I cannot have the discourse that women have struggled for.
I'm sorry to say, sometimes what happens...
of women recognized by the law. They have struggled for the expansion of the definition of rape. They have struggled for stricter punishment for sexual assault causing grievous hurt short of murder.
Yes.
They have asked for it, but they have never asked for these solutions simply because these are solutions that will make it more difficult for women to file a complaint. I have to say this here because you haven't called anyone except me from the women's groups that have been working on this ground.
Kavita, one second. Kavita, 1 second. I just want to say one thing to you, please. Please understand this, that everybody has a right to have a voice in this country, right? That's one. And please understand this, that everybody has a right to ask whether the laws are effective. If we show any slightest amount of intellectual intolerance to the opposite point of view and say, I am from the women's movement and I feel so, I represent women and all of you people don't and the others don't, then it might be a display of intellectual intolerance which may be inappropriate given the occasion. Yes, that's all I'm telling you here.
So have an open debate on this. Have an open debate. What happens is that we intellectualize a problem and the problem gets stuck in debates and solutions do not come out.
I take your point. Meenakshi Lekhi, before I come to you here, I want to get in Sudha Ramalingam. I'm opening this up after that. Let's first agree that everybody has a say.
First talk about how these things are being sensationalized and not sensitized. What we are talking of doing all this while is just to sensationalize one particular case with knee-jerk reactions.
What sensationalize which case? No, sensationalize which case? 1 minute. Sensationalize which case? Which case? Which case is being sensationalized?
And ensure that there is
1 minute, Kavita. She can speak for herself.
Please.
Sudha, which case is being sensationalized?
Arnab Goswami may also be slapped with a false case.
Which case is being sensationalized?
Understand, we should not be sensitized.
Which case is being sensationalized?
Kavita was right. She was making a real point. But you do not, you want to shut us up. You want to show that all human rights activists are wrong. No, we have been right, not only today, right from the beginning. Miss
Ramalingam.
From Prakash Sarayana days, we have been fighting against rationality. We do not want to become barbaric nation. We would like to be a humane state.
Right.
We would like to be a democratic state, a state which will adhere to the UNO's principles, to which we have been signing as parties. So let us not sensationalize things. Please,
no, what is being sensationalized?
You know, I am surprised at your reaction. You know,
we have been fighting against all odds for all these years. These are lobbyists.
Arnab, I don't understand.
One sec, Miss Ramalingam, have we agreed?
Where is this debate going?
One sec. Can we please have someone respond to you? And to Ms. Kavita Krishnan, let's have all points of view, you see. So one, please hear the other side, right? So and Prasoon Joshi has something to say. He's not an activist, but I think he as a citizen of India has the right to have an opinion. Yes, Prasoon Joshi.
I respect your.
Listen,
India has a larger role to play, not to sensationalize. Really,
what is being sensationalized?
To sensitize people.
Yes. Okay. I completely understand your sentiment and respect that your human rights sentiment on this. But what you need to understand also, I am surprised that I am just listen to me for a while. I am surprised that while the whole nation has so much of outrage, at this juncture we are hearing reporting of so many cases.
Yeah.
It has become the current fear is not enough. The people have no fear when they deal with women. They find it very casual. Something really drastic needs to be done here. Same Delhi where people are protesting on the street, the same Delhi, the night you see a man misbehaving with a girl and molesting a girl. There is no fear. There has to be something concrete done here. I tell you, I'm aghast by the men of this country that people have not beaten, what we call eve teasing, which is a wrong term, which should not exist. The woman being dealt or harassed and somebody has not beaten into pulp, and this atmosphere, I feel there is something very serious needs to be done in law and order, in society, society's acceptance towards the treatment towards women. I think we need to take a serious call here. And yes, human rights comes later, but you have to deal with the human rights of women right now. You have to take their side right now and see that they get their justice. I'm actually saying here very clearly that.
But women's justice in the molestation case
it is also, I'd just like to add to what Mr. Prasoon Joshi is saying over here. It is an absolute shame when a woman is teased in public. Can I say something, please? Ma'am, I'd like to just make a point here.
How difficult it is for her to
Ma'am, I'd like to make a point here.
1 second.
I'd like to take Mr. Prasoon Joshi's point further.
Who will be penalized. It takes up so much difficulty to persuade a young girl to file a complaint.
Kavita Krishnan,
just say something.
Kavita Krishnan, I don't understand at all. And I don't think anybody can understand how tougher laws are a problem. I can understand, have quicker convictions, remove the social stigma.
Because it deters women from filing a complaint.
Really? So you are saying, you are actually saying, you are actually saying,
I'm saying that.
I don't understand this argument. 1 second. Kavita, please listen. You are actually saying that the victim will be worried.
Let me tell you.
Please listen, Kavita. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I am telling you that.
Listen to me. Allow a question to be asked.
The victim is under
Allow
pressure.
a question to be asked. Allow a question to be asked.
Go ahead.
Right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. You are actually saying today that a victim will be worried that the accused will be punished. Now, all I know is that in this particular case of the victim in Delhi, till her last moment, she kept asking. She kept asking whether the people have been caught and punished. I don't think this human rights argument works.
Can I answer you? I'm saying that when you talk to a little girl, a young girl, and try and persuade her to file a complaint of rape, we know how difficult it is. There has been a case in Delhi
so what? How do tougher laws?
Do you know how difficult it was to persuade that girl to file a complaint? because of the variety of social pressures on her.
Don't
I'd like to say something over here.
When the person
what we are trying to,
ma'am,
the point we are trying to make,
one at a time.
Please say something.
Going to face a death penalty or castration.
One second, Kunal, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Understand the pressures that women
not everyone
face.
together. Mr. Memon is responding first. Mr. Memon, go ahead.
Please. See, I would first request everybody else to please keep quiet for a minute. If you want to hear what I want to say, please don't forget that 50% of Indian citizens are women. Out of every 2 Indian citizens, 1 is a woman. How can we deprive them of their safety, their protection, their life, their liberty, their constitutional rights? Certainly not. Now the question is that the fear of law probably does not deter, as on today, the offenders from taking law in their hands and outraging the modesty of women or raping them. So something needs to be done. Apart from, of course, deterrent laws are necessary. Just like murder, in rapes also, facts may differ from case to case. Now, this instant case certainly warrants nothing less than death. So therefore, if the law is modified, death sentence is made applicable to such cases. This is the first case, but here it is also murder, so there is no difficulty at all. Now let us understand that just as in murder cases, we categorize rarest of rare cases and other cases. In rape cases also, hereafter, once death penalty is provided by law, we will categorize rarest of rare rape cases and give them death sentences. One more thing, Arnab, which is very necessary today is this, that confidence of rape victim has to be brought up. The women must be satisfied, must be convinced that they would receive justice once they go to the police station or to the court.
Yeah,
now,
so
therefore, we need lady doctors, we need lady police officers, we need prompt reaction, we want respect to women, and that is how these are all factors which together contribute to bring down this graph.
You see, we have been saying that there is a stigma on the person who is a victim of rape. All we are saying here today is that some lobbies and some sections and some people get very uncomfortable when they say, let's have the stigma on the accused. We want the person who is thinking of rape or has carried out the rape to have a stigma all his life.
We also want him to be really convicted.
Yes,
Arnab, I'd like to
yes, the rapist must be punished. Simple. Mr. Ramalingam, why do you get so upset?
The offender cannot even claim human rights.
Yeah, how can a rapist?
If a rapist is inhuman in his conduct, if the rapist is inhuman in his conduct, where is the question of human rights for him?
I'm saying here today,
he is inhuman.
In fact,
in this case where you have brutally assaulted this girl, I mean, where is the human right question comes for these people? Do you want to have pity on these people?
Absolutely,
I mean, what kind of country are we talking about? How will the women feel secure?
This is the standard argument of these groups, which is like the American Civil Liberties Union, which says, oh my God, coerced administration of any drug, including the anti-androgen drugs for sex offenders, is cruel punishment for rapists. I mean,
there's nothing cruel.
What is cruel about it? I mean, what is the cruelty that the rapist
Arnab, what we are talking about here, what the topic of the debate is, stricter laws, stricter punishment.
Absolutely.
Why are we not discussing that?
Stricter laws would also
Why are we not discussing stricter laws, stricter punishment? I am saying I want and I demand even stricter punishment.
Or booked for perjury, and also take necessary actions be taken against the policeman who produces stock witnesses. We'll have to ensure that we follow a system of law. We do not become anarchic in our ideas. Ensure that we are democratic.
We are not talking about anarchy, madam. Madam, we are talking about the safety of women.
Miss Ramalingam,
we are not talking about anarchy. We are talking about the safety of women.
We have worked for women's rights. We have also worked towards getting stricter and stringent laws. Stringent laws are only not the panacea for everything. We have had the Dowry Prohibition Act. We have had,
but we need something. Right now we have nothing. Right now the man walking on the street who decides to tease a girl or to whistle at her or to touch her, he's not afraid of the law.
I for the life of me.
Let's not shirk away from our responsibilities.
Ma'am, I'd like
to...
Miss, 1 second, please, Sudha Ramalingam. You see, I cannot understand. 1 minute. Kunal Kohli, 1 minute. Kunal Kohli, 1 minute. Kunal Kohli, 1 minute. 1 minute. Kunal Kohli and Sudha Ramalingam.
Who gives a false complaint against you? What will you do?
Miss Ramalingam, please understand one thing.
This is not about everything.
Miss Ramalingam.
The law has got to be applied evenly.
Miss Ramalingam, please understand.
Yes.
Anybody can accuse, somebody can accuse you or me of murder also.
Murder also.
So please don't give that argument. Please, one second. The question here is, the question is Meenakshi Lekhi. I want to go back to Meenakshi Lekhi. Kunal Kohli, 1 minute. 1 minute, Sudha Ramalingam.
That's a basic fundamental.
You see, Miss Ramalingam. Miss Ramalingam. Miss Ramalingam.
Let's not simply sway things.
Miss Ramalingam.
Just because you had one instance here or that. These are not very grave instances. We need real.
It is not just one instance.
This is exactly the reason.
How many cases? We have so many cases of women walking on the streets and people harassing them. What about those cases? Those are not even reported.
Appreciation of evidence.
1 second. Here's the challenge. The challenge is there an attempt to obfuscate the argument on tough laws by saying the police is bad,
no, not at
the prosecution is bad, the state is bad, the state itself is bad, the apparatus is bad, the judicial system is bad.
No,
and hence, let us obfuscate the debate. Let us obfuscate the debate on tougher laws. Meenakshi Lekhi is responding to Sudha Ramalingam. Meenakshi Lekhi, one-on-one, please. Meenakshi Lekhi responding to Sudha Ramalingam.
Most of the policemen, what do they do? Prosecution brings in stop with them.
Sudha Ramalingam and Kavita are not used to listening to others' points of view. And you can see the violence in the
Miss Ramalingam, please listen to others.
That this is the kind of attitude. This is the kind of
Ramalingam, you're not even listening to the point we are trying to make, ma'am. Please understand that.
Okay, 1 minute.
Women's rights issues cannot be hijacked by the same lobby which speaks against death penalty on one point in time and takes over at the other point of view. And the same people, and this has been the problem, that women's rights movement, the original movement, has lost its color because it's been hijacked. And these are the people who sometimes double up as the human rights activists and then double up as the
Miss Ramalingam, please listen. Miss Ramalingam, 1 minute. I'm going to cut the audio of that. 1 second, Miss Ramalingam.
They indulge in
Miss Ramalingam, 1 second. Meenakshi Lekhi, can we just keep quiet for a minute?
They can't even listen to a different point of view.
1 second.
And the different point of view is,
1 second. I want Meenakshi 1 minute. Just stop.
If they are talking here.
1 second. Kavita, we request you that let me please come in at this stage, right? Okay, let me moderate this. Miss Ramalingam, I would request you, when your point was being made, everybody listened. So I request you most humbly, if you know, keeping in view the human rights of the viewers, that please listen to what others are also saying. And Kavita Krishnan, I am completely capable of moderating this debate. Please let Meenakshi Lekhi complete and I'll come to you. Yes, please go ahead, Meenakshi Lekhi.
You see, what my point is, if they claim that they know the victims, I can also claim I know not one but many victims with whom one has engaged over a period of time. And the lobbyists came only on the last day of the court order when the sentence was getting pronounced and tried to hijack even that agenda. Now, this is the kind of conduct, and every victim that I have spoken to in my life has asked for death penalty, even a rape victim. Now, here are cases where more than rape has happened. A severe bodily injury and complete alteration of lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And these are what one calls life-altering events. Now, in cases where life-altering events happen to anybody, death penalty should be the rule. And chemical castration is out of question because it is a reversible process. And let me explain for the viewers, because I think most of the people don't even understand. It's like taking pills. A lot of women take pills so that their levels, hormonal levels change. And the moment they stop, the levels come to normal. Similarly, if you stop the injections, the levels come to normal. So you really don't achieve much. And this thing which is called as most sinister penalty under human rights violation and that nonsense, this is even countries like Norway, Sweden, the more so-called more liberal leftist countries, they apply. Scandinavian countries, this is the penalty. And according to me, even if we are looking at castration, the castration should be looked at in a different stream of cases. For pedophiles and such people, maybe castration.
Yes, absolutely.
But in cases where brutalization of the body has happened, death penalty should be the rule. Because our geopolitical situation, our social situation does not permit us to spend this kind of money on upkeep of the criminals, whereas the honest, poor people go hungry on the streets of this country and get further exploited.
Yeah.
The only question which comes here, I agree completely with you.
Only question comes here is that everybody on the street today is asking, make these people suffer as much as possible. Don't give them a quick, get out quickly out of life kind of treatment, because that's the question you have to ask. Are we doing justice? Because someone who has gone down to a level of treating a woman the way these people did in the bus is not scared of anything.
Do you think
the kind of, so are we giving them a quick release? That is the question. I'm just voicing what people are saying on the street. They do feel that there's something which makes them really suffer, which gives other people a kind of fear. No, that is what people are asking for, and that's what we need to debate.
What has unfortunately happened? What has unfortunately happened in some circles in Delhi is that the entire debate around the rights of women or human rights, etc., has been appropriated by certain groups. And therefore, it is more important, since this is an issue which does not only concern certain groups. They have a say, but they are one among thousands of people who have a say. Do you think it is important right now, Majid Memon, my question to you is to widen the course of this debate? It should not be that some people who have a view on death penalty should be able to influence the view on how crimes against women should be handled.
On the women rights.
On women rights issues as well.
Please come back to
One sec. I want to go to Majid Memon on that. Majid Memon, is that going to be, is that necessary? Is that not just necessary but important to do immediately?
Now Arnav, as we are standing today, after this debate over more than a fortnight now since the incident that occurred, by and large people, even lawmakers, even people in authority, are now seriously considering and examining what could be the harsher or more deterrent punishment for such rapists. Well, that's absolutely a right direction, and I think it's going to happen very soon, in the days to come. Now, number two is that, you see, apart from making the offenders fear law, more important for a civil society is to infuse confidence in the minds of women, young girls, to move freely in the society, as their constitutional rights permit them to do so. Therefore, the fear of being molested, the fear of being accosted, a girl cannot walk on the street, etc., this must by and large go away. For this, the society has to act together along with the lawmakers to create an atmosphere that this fear does not prevail, and therefore the girls are free. Because as I said earlier, out of two, every one is a woman. Well, the 50% of the population, how can we just leave them alone like this?
I take a straw poll on the Newshour tonight.
Deterrent punishment also is important.
I'd like to make a point here.
I just because of want of time, I'm wrapping up. I'm just putting one question to the viewer tonight at the very end.
One more thing. One thing I want to say. See, this is very important that a common citizen of this country
must get a
when
voice.
he wants to cooperate with the police and the governance to stop something, feels that he's not going to be in trouble. Today, we feel boss is lafade mein kaun pade.
In that, I want to play a small clip. Can I in this context play a small news clip? I found it very interesting. This comes from Hathras. I'll just play a small soundbite. Hathras, it is not a case of a rape victim. It is a case of a 16-year-old girl who was burnt. Burnt alive. In this particular case, a small clip, I think is very revealing here. A policeman is asked, will you file an FIR in this case? And the policeman is caught on candid camera saying, no question of FIR. They are infighting. And only when he hears, in this, please listen to this very clearly, only when that policeman hears that the victim has died, does his expression change. Just look at the change of expression. We'll start playing that video right now. It's a 20-second clip. Just watch how the policeman is reacting. First dismissive. No case will be filed. It's a common case. He's smiling and laughing about it. And then when he hears the victim has died, his expression changes, which means, and I really mean this with all sincerity, only when people die in our country, when the common man or common woman or common teenager, an aam aadmi dies in our country, can we expect any justice? Just look at this clip. I think it tells a story of what you were talking about. Look at this clip.
होगी भी नहीं यार मेरे क्यों अरे यार आदमी पैसा दिल तो दिया उनमें अभी और लेगा वो पैसा मुकदमा कोई तहरीर नहीं आई है ना मुकदमा लिखा जाएगा सही बात तो तुम्हें यार ये बता दूं ये पैसों के लिए पैसों का खेला है पूरा है अरे नहीं कोई तहरीर नहीं आई अब तक मर गई अभी अब देखो कराया जा रहा है अभी मरी है कराया जा रहा है उसका ठीक है
Just look at that. I think that tells you the whole story.
Yeah.
मर गई मर गई, and then he कहा रहे मर गई तो FIR file करेंगे. That's the story of our country.
So I'm saying the seriousness of this crime needs to be established. The point here is
what we are trying to make, and what we as citizens want, and what we as citizens are demanding. Even what Mr. Memon was saying, that the woman walking on the street should feel safe. She will feel safe when the man who thinks of doing anything wrong to a woman knows that if he does anything, he will face very serious repercussions. No, but today the man knows that if he touches a woman or gropes a woman, he will just run away.
A city planning, for example.
No, we'll get into the bigger options, but
there are many more things.
And also, why are we not talking about, like somebody made a point here in the debate, I think it was Mr. Prasun Joshi who made the point over here, and that point was very valid, that even the death sentence is actually not enough. They need to suffer as much as the victim has suffered. How much Nirbhaya has suffered, these men who have raped her need to suffer that much or more. What they have done to her, we cannot even talk about these things.
Well, I think
what they've done to her. And what is going to happen to them? Just hanging? Is that enough? No, it's not enough.
Yeah, I understand your point.
They need to suffer more.
Kavita, these are voices which need to be heard. My question is to all our viewers. Meenakshi, I'm completely short of time.
Saying that if you give death penalty for rape, then what is going to prevent the rapist from killing his victim every single time so that she cannot testify against him?
One question is,
you're going to encourage rapists to kill their victim because after all the sentence is going to be the same.
No, they have already
and you will prevent the complainant from
my problem is that crime against women is not taken seriously.
Provides for that.
My problem is that anything which does make this crime serious, today people are very casual.
A simple question is this. A simple question to all our viewers is this. Have existing laws worked? Ask yourself tonight, wherever you're watching the news, and tell us what you think. Have existing laws worked, or have existing laws completely failed? If laws fail, do you change the laws or not? And why can't you have a special session of Parliament right here, right now, to discuss the change of laws? Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for participating in debate number 1.